those of you who followed Energynomics had the chance already to read some articles we prepared after this workshop we organized last week. Part of the large conference financed by the Nordic Council and organized by the 5 embassies. Already you are quite familiar with them at the moment. And we try to explore together how values, culture, and practical choices shape the green transition. Some of the ideas we exchanged last week will be presented for you today. For that, I invite on the stage Celia Durubala, Maisa Lyra, Daniela Goreacii, Victor Gavrilă, and Fabian Hanță. Thank you, ladies, gentlemen, for being here today and also for being such an important part of the workshop we organized last week. In fact, 2 of you have started to work on this project more than 4 weeks ago, I think. Celia and Maisa, you're very instrumental in making this meeting possible. And I will start with you. Before listening our friends here, Celia, tell us a few words about how, first of all, what is your background and what was your role in organizing the workshop and how you saw it?
Yeah, first of all, I would like to say thank you very much for this event and for the possibility to have young voices represented. I'm the intern at the Norwegian embassy and I've studied political science. And together with the other Nordic interns, we've had the pleasure of organizing a workshop where we want to promote and have discussions with youth and NGOs on the green transition here in Romania and what the steps are forward. And our motivation was that as interns who grew up in the north, climate activism and youth engagement has very much been revolved around school strikes for the climate, Greta Thunberg, and we were very curious to learn more about the Romanian perspective. How did this translate in Romania? What does the Romanian youth think of climate engagement and what the important steps are? So that was our overarching perspective, and I think Maisa can go a bit more in depth.
Yeah, so just to add that we were really happy that we managed to foster some dialogue between the youth here in Romania, and we really hope that our event helped make new connections and network, and we really hope that it will continue to bear fruit in the future as well, because us interns really thought that it's important to have these kind of events organized by youth, for the youth, to make the youth more visible in decision-making and participating in the green energy transition.
Please keep the microphone just one moment. You also were part of the discussion during the workshop. Tell us a few words about that, how it was. Was it something in particular that raised your interest during the conversation at the workshop?
Our roles, we also took part in the discussions as interns, and I think the discussions were really interesting, and we were really happy to hear how engaged the young people here in Romania are with the topic. It was somehow a bit new to me as a law student, so I was really happy that they managed to teach me about green transition in Romania, and I think I learned a lot. An exchange, or I managed to give maybe some insights on how the young people have acted in the north, and I think that we had a great discussion in the workshop.
Thank you, thank you. I also want to thank Fanny, who was also one of the interns who work on this project, and Rasmus. I saw him yesterday, today. Thank you very much, both of you, all of you, for this your contribution. We are moving now to 3 of the 20 participants in the workshop per se. Daniela, Romania, how it was?
It was great. Thank you very much for organizing such an interesting and engaging event. I have to admit, it's the first time I was involved in a two-steps conference, like you met first, discuss something, and then present the conclusions afterwards in a larger, to a larger audience. And I think it was great to connect and share experience with our Nordic colleagues and to see what we are doing right and what we can do better. In our working group, we explored a very precise subject, the electric mobility, and even Romania is one of the Eastern countries that adopted electric vehicles at a big scale. However, it's not the degree of adoption Nordic countries have. So we thought what we can do better in Romania, and we discovered that one of the major drawbacks here is the charging anxiety. So people are afraid of not having enough charging stations while leaving a big city. And also another point was that maybe they are afraid that during winter, battery will not be enough. You have not enough power to get to your destination. And Rasmus told us that in winter is okay to use an electric car because they in Denmark do so and are safe. And we also thought afterwards that, okay, here in Romania, considering our infrastructure, it's developing. Even in 2025, we already opened a big charging hub here in Romania and on one of our motorways with 34 fast charging stations. But maybe it's not enough because we only met 20% of our target for 2026 by now. So we have like 4 months to get ready. And I thought it was like a very useful for us to meet and to exchange ideas and our knowledge and to come to a conclusion that green transition, it's honestly not only about technology, not only about rare metals and power, it's also about trust, it's about connection and responsibility. So what our workshop did was bringing together young professionals to exchange experiences and become the change we want. And this is exactly what we at Future Energy Leaders Romania do and what we are standing for. So thank you.
Thank you also, Daniela, for your thoughts. We have 20 young people divided in 4 groups. They had a 45 minutes conversation, and the results of that conversation were presented in front of the whole group by one representative. They are 3 of the representatives chosen by the young people after the conversation. Please, Victor, tell us a few words about yourself and then maybe about the conversation you had last week.
Thank you for having us. The discussions from a week ago gave us food for thought regarding the differences of youth engagement in the Nordic countries and in Romania. It certainly looks like 2 different planets regarding the culture of volunteering. Me and my colleague Fabian have been and still are a volunteer in our NGO. And we are seeing that the difference is the economic stability of the country, because the Nordic young people have more financial stability to delay their employment years so that during university they can explore and have more experiences. But right now we are having difficulties of attracting new volunteers because they are in search of serious jobs earlier on, because their parents can't provide for them anymore. And also that the role models are quite different. In the Nordic countries, the culture gives a more visible pattern of community spirit, of hard work, like Love Her or Hate Her, Greta Thunberg, which showed the young people that one person can influence a global movement. Whereas in Romania, the accent, mainly by the media, is put on materialistic and individualistic examples, like all reality shows that give shallow examples for youngsters to follow. And those are like the two most specific points we have observed that influence the difference of social and young engagement in volunteering and in climate action. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Victor, for sharing your experience and for summarizing your conversation. And now, Fabian, please, a few words about yourself and then on the workshop.
Hello, thank you for the invitation. My name is Fabian and I'm just a graduate student. I just graduated Faculty of Electrical Engineering about this project. So, as my colleagues told before, we were organized in different teams of 4 people, and talked about different problems and different solutions implemented into the Nordic countries and also into Romania. One of the first big things which we discovered was the amount of young people who were involved into the Nordic countries. More exactly, we talked about many solutions and problems, but we discovered all of them had a common thing, at least in the Nordic part. In the Nordic part, it was about the young voices. We are not talking here about the only young voices who were more rebellious or something like this. We are talking about a collaboration between the senior voices and the young people. After we discovered this difference, we talked a little bit about how young people are involved there, and we discovered that mostly young people will try to organize or to implement something from a very young age. We are talking about 18 to 20 years old. And as a Romanian, I was a little bit surprised by this fact. And from that moment on, I understood that we have to look into their solutions, into their organization, and to see if we can implement those things and to see how we can blend this tradition into our own mentality. Another thing which I really liked about this workshop was the fact that I was able to see young engineering students working together to solve problems, but not only in their own countries, but also problems for the whole Nordic group. It's another point of collaboration which I think we could look into, and overall I think the young voices should be heard, but also taught by the more experienced ones. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We open the conversation to the room. Anybody who is interested to discover something more from one of our young people here on the stage? Yes, please just make a sign and the microphone will be with you. immediately. Yes, please.
Yeah. First of all, I would like to congratulate you for this initiative. I think it's very useful. But I would like to address a question regarding the. You mentioned the EV cars and perhaps the lack of enough station where the cars can be basically charged. So, have you also considered maybe convincing the local municipalities to set up more this kind of power stations and for cars? And I'm referring especially to Bucharest, because now Bucharest is planned to develop the urban mobility plans, which basically most cities in Romania should have. And I was wondering if you considered convincing the municipality to have this kind of power stations. And I'm also, in relation to this subject of education, a second question, I would refer to the possibility of organizing such workshop during the event called Open Streets in Bucharest, which closed this weekend, because this kind of event, Closed Streets in Bucharest, is basically an example of sustainable urban development. So it's basically a mean to reduce gas emission in transport sector. So this is basically our two questions.
Thank you for 2 questions, 2 ideas, in fact.
Yeah, thank you.
Please.
No, we did not consider to ask municipalities for more charging stations, and I explain why. Because the anxiety lays not in Bucharest, it's about countryside where you actually need more charging stations, because in Bucharest and in other big cities, the charging grid may be still okay, but if you want to use electric vehicle outside your city, there you may face some difficulties. And I will also say that the pressure on public infrastructure is already quite big, because only 40% of electric cars owners in Romania actually charge at home at all, and 38% does not even have charging stations at home. So I think one of the solutions is to make this charging station available financially and logistic for charging at home, to ease the pressure from public infrastructure, so you can charge only if you need, but not overnight maybe. And it will happen at some point, because even now we are moving from free charging stations to paid ones. This is the trend here in Romania, and maybe it's a good one, because it put more responsibility on the car owner and move the focus from only a public problem to your own matter. You have to be responsible of your car and of your transportation as well. So you have to share this task with your government or public authorities. And yes, I think that the idea of making such a workshop during this event will help, because we can educate people. We have a lot of persons there working and just looking for distraction, and you can put a stand there and start talking about EV or solar panels or whatever energy transition subject you want, and you will already have a public.
Thank you. Thank you for your answer. I will now move once again to Celia and Maisa. I don't know exactly your background, if you are already interested in the energy sector before, and I am curious if after this experience last week and today and yesterday, do you see energy as an area of interest for your future activity?
Well, I personally think that given the climate change happening, energy and green transition has to be an interest to everyone. And I would consider myself much more knowledgeable now, and I would consider myself I can see myself working with the topic in the future, and especially the viewpoints of how to make it happen. So I'm not a technical expert, but I do have a great interest in politics and diplomacy and social sciences. And I think that point of view to the energy transition is really important and is definitely one of my personal interests. And I think I can say on behalf of all the interns that now that we have learned more on the topic, we would say that that has definitely become one of our great interests.
Thank you.
Same as Maisa, my background is more social science based. I'm a political science student. So energy isn't my field of expertise. And what we wanted to do, us interns, was to create interdisciplinary discussions to see how these solutions for the green transition can be made. And I think we really managed to do that. And I have definitely become much more aware of the cooperation needed to create green transition and how important it is to combine the political aspect with more technical aspects. So it has been a very useful and useful workshop, and I've learned a lot about what is needed in the future.
Thank you. One more call for questions from your side to the young people on the stage now. Yes, I will be there immediately. Please.
Thank you. Tudor Prișor from Babeș-Bolyai University of Cluj-Napoca. I think these sort of projects are quite fascinating. Given your experience and knowledge sharing, from an educational standpoint, how do you perceive the integration of these sort of topics that we talk about here, about green transition, in the educational curricula? And in the case of Romania, how prepared do you think the people are from an educational standpoint to move to a more sustainable collective culture? Because everything that we talk about here is connected to how can we implement these measures, but how prepared is the society for this?
Thank you. Quite challenging, I'd say.
Can you hear me? I'm sorry, the acoustics weren't quite friendly with me. I hope I understood your question. How do we integrate the sustainability in education? Yeah, well, this is what we ask ourselves since 2014. It's quite dynamic, and we have to adapt. Alongside our sustainable houses we have constructed along the years, we now have made national curricula for high schools so that students can see what sustainability really means specifically on every domain, like in their lifestyle or day-to-day activities, and even entrepreneurship startups. And also we are working on an educational caravan to go in rural areas where children and young students don't really have access to mentors, so that we can show them practical experiments or solutions that we here in Bucharest, as privileged ones, take for granted, so that we can engage this poverty islands in the majority of Romania.
Thank you. Thank you, all of you. Thank you. Celia, Maisa, Daniela, Victor, Fabian, and all the rest of the students and young people who are part of this project. I also have to extend a particular, special thank you to the Dean of the Faculty of Energy Studies at the University of Polytechnica Bucharest. She was very close to us during the last weeks, and it was very useful too. Thank you, and please join me with a round of applause for the young people here on the stage, on behalf of all the others. Thank you. We'll close this session with another short movie from a Nordic company interested in being known, being noticed in Romania.
With focus on Swedish innovation and sustainability, our corporate group promotes the environment in various ways through our subsidiaries and associated companies. Specializing in utility-focused solutions, we support stable and efficient power supply with adaptable energy storage systems. Our precision equipment improves valve performance worldwide, extending the lifespan of essential components. Delivering advanced, sustainable steam solutions, we enhance processes, reduce waste, and improve operational efficiency. Offering custom steam solutions and complex piping services, we meet diverse industry needs with unmatched expertise. From prototypes to serial production, our workshop provides tailored metalwork solutions for every client's needs. Creating molds, tools, and machine parts in various materials, we provide high-quality machining with exceptional accuracy. Through precision cutting, we deliver top-quality components to meet the demands of the manufacturing sector. And to last, our quick response service and in-house resources ensure reliable maintenance for critical infrastructure projects.